guys, I want to talk about our great and storied history, Anglo Saxons, okay, otherwise known as the Afro Blacksons. Okay.
I mean, I already knew you were going to say that, and it's still funny.
I didn't. I didn't know. That's good.
Oh dear. Okay. So I last few times I've been here, sort of blackpilling. So I thought I'd do something funny, but obviously still relevant, right? It's the constant erasure of our history through many different ways. So this is a new BBC show, drama. It is a drama, okay, but it is obviously based on the Battle of Hastings. It's called King and Conqueror, and that, my dear fellows, is an Afro Blackson.
That's your direct ancestor there, Nate. I can see
family resemblance.
I can see it. I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Luca, it might be yours as well. You guys might be distant relatives.
Don't think
Could
so.
be.
No,
What about you?
Oh well, no.
What do you mean no?
He doesn't look like a Robinson.
Not
to me.
Looks like a Harry though.
No, you're saying that's
Tangent.
is that Harold Godwinson? That's who they've cast to play him. If you really squint at the Bayeux Tapestry, he looks pretty black.
You foreshadowed something.
Oh no! Is this the guy that Septimius Severus got really scared of at the at Hadrian's Wall?
Just ran away real quick.
Yeah. They say black don't crack. You know, he lived a pretty long time after that.
This is it. So look, obviously, this is it's laughable. Clearly, this generated quite a lot of views, to be honest.
Yeah.
11.3 million, which is insane, and quite rightly so. You know, it deserves to be.
I love that he has to specify this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm not making this up. The BBC are actually doing this, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of see how the BBC could think they could get away with it with the Roman Empire and horrible histories.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to suggest because Rome at its height was a multiracial empire, as they always end up being, you could try and sneak in, as ahistorical as it would be, that, well, maybe there were a few more African soldiers or slaves over here than we initially thought. It's still rubbish and it's still not true, but you can see how. But this is like literally fall of Rome. Anglo-Saxon Christian England. Like, the only people who were here were Anglo-Saxons, and we'd scared all of the Britons off into the western corners of the island. Like, those are the only people who were here, and some Vikings who we kept having to kick out.
He's well Anglo-Saxon, mate. Come on.
What
are we talking about?
I mean, there's that other picture that's been going around recently of what an Anglo-Saxon looked like, and he just kind of looked like me after a few pints on Saturday.
Gerald from Clarkson's Farm.
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Well, especially because you know what. Obviously, this sort of thing's been going on for years now.
Yeah.
And when it really started, I remember getting furious about it and all that. I'm at the point now where you just laugh, you roll with the punches. I mean, it's still, I hate it. I obviously hate it. But I'm not raging it. We have bigger problems, and we sort those problems out. These problems will go away too.
We've got huge problems. This is a symptom
Exactly.
of those problems, though, because one, it's supposed to try to basically lie not only to the natives of this country, but lie to the invaders to try and give them some kind of buy-in.
Yeah. So
by including them in our history, but also it does. I would worry that young people will be watching this and getting their idea of history from this, because there have been many studies done showing that people basically get their idea of reality through the fiction and television that they consume. There were those surveys done in America years ago where they were suggesting, okay, what's your guess of how large this population in America is versus the actual reality? And it was like trans, they guessed it was 10 times more than it actually is. Jews, they guessed it was like 30 times more than it actually is. Blacks, they thought, made up like half the population, because that's how it's portrayed on TV. However, I don't worry as much about that at the moment, because as Dan has stated before, if you think Gen Z is bad, like the new generation are going to get most of their history from Zoomer Historian and other similar channels. So they're not going to get this look of history. No. They're going to get a very different look at history.
Yeah, well, so that you've kind of foreshadowed one of my points, actually. And so we're sort of breeze through it.
I'm so sorry, Nick.
No, it's all right. This isn't going to load either by the looks of it. I don't know if we can. Can we reload this?
So in this clip, is it more than just that one guy who's black? Is it just
there's
loads
a few.
of them?
Yeah, there's a fair few. So
a bit of everything in there.
Oh yeah, come on now. Diversity is our strength. Okay, well,
I mean, clearly it wasn't though, because we got invaded.
Well, I mean, if this is true.
I mean, so what? The Normans come in, they take over because it turns out they were less diverse and more strong than us.
Yeah.
And then what was the harrying of the North actually some kind of mass Bantu genocide situation?
Honestly. Well, maybe these are the progenitors of the king of Kabbalah. Who knows? I mean, the guy in Scotland. This isn't going to load, so whatever. Let's move on. Here's a screenshot. Here's one of them.
Oh my god.
So there you go.
You see, although
I want to leave that there, just for people to look at, obviously, because this is just absurd.
Although I said that I can roll with the punches a bit more on when they do stuff like this. I tell you where my anger does lie, though. Not just with the BBC, of course, who cast it all, but genuinely with the actors who do it as well.
Yeah, it's a multitude
because they know they're lying. Yeah. They know they're lying, but they're either doing it as some form of like cultural dominance over us and our national story, or they're just doing it because it's a paycheck, right? Yeah. And they're willing to just go along with that lie because it's a job.
Yeah, I mean, so I think it's important not to actually trivialise it. Like, this is a bit of fun, obviously, Afro Blackson and stuff like that, highly comical. I'll take the props for that one. But there is a more serious tone to it, really, is that, it's really vindictive. It's actually quite sick.
Yeah, it's pernicious.
Right? Whenever this stuff happens nowadays, I'm like, of course they did. Because it is so, prevalent. It is so rife. But it is still really disgusting. It is disgusting. It is foul. And it comes from a place of absolute hatred for white people. That's all it is. Like, it's, we will genocide you to oblivion, right? In all aspects. We'll remove your history. We'll remove your culture. The history, it's to remove your anchor, as a group of people. Yeah, so there is a more serious tone to it.
We will...
Yeah, it's absolutely
Which
foul.
is actually listed as part of some definitions of the G word, which...
Oh, yeah, I'm not...
Are we allowed to say that on YouTube? In this context?
I did a hard G there.
No, we're not. All right.
Sorry about that.
Ignore you heard that. Don't tell Mr. Mohan.
Soz. And so there's a little bit more here.
It's because it's having their own cultures, their own history, promoted at all times, and also claiming yours as theirs as well.
Exactly.
So you're left with nothing.
Yeah, precisely. And then even if you do, like Anglo Saxon was on that list of, far right nonsense, wasn't it? It was on a government watch list.
With the Lord of the Rings, Bridge on the River Kwai.
But this is okay if they're black. It's like, make your mind up. This is just a complete clown show. There you go.
No.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
They've literally. It's like they've gone into MS Paint and used the filler tool on the faces.
In another era, they would call that problematic.
I mean,
I do consider it problematic.
Well, I do, but for different reasons.
Yes.
So I told you foreshadowed it.
Oh no, I just used a lefty woke word. James Lindsay's going to be very angry at me, guys.
Oh yeah, can't do that. And everyone's just posting about it. As it says, King and Conqueror trivializes the most famous date in English history. In a new low for woke diversity casting. Was it deemed contrary to the ruling law of inclusivity if the 1066 black Anglo-Saxon community were not repressed in this purportedly authentic historical drama?
I guess not.
Do we have the viewing figures for how this did? Well, am I getting ahead of myself?
Yeah. You're
all right.
Sort of seeing into the future of my
does
segment.
the BBC present viewing figures? Sure,
they do. There's the official figures by Barb, which is the official they sort of aggregate the figures.
Yeah.
But we've got another metric which we'll look at as well.
Okay.
But I also wanted to put this here and say...
Yeah, I watched his video on this, Tom's, because they were trying to... There was a paper that came out that was trying to represent these two skeletons that they'd found out of hundreds that suggested that they had very minor levels of mainly North African admixture, Moorish admixture, like less than about a quarter. And then try and present these people as having been a record of historically multicultural black England. And then he's pointing out, well, here's a woman who's actually 1/3 black, and she doesn't look very black. She's got some features.
Would actually be cast as Snow White.
She's got ridiculously pale skin.
Yeah.
But don't you know? All right, the Afro-Blaxons were a thing. So
Clearly.
I didn't know, mate. Thank you for informing me.
Oh, it's got to be done. Right, but I mean, this is one I've met, and this has not gone down very well, as you can see. Now, Rotten Tomatoes gets a bad rap. They've obviously manipulated statistics and figures here and there. There's a few ways you can use Rotten Tomatoes as a good aggregate source for metrics. So the amount of reviews was only 50+. So do you see what I mean? Like, no one's watching it. Critics or audiences, 36%. So there's ways where you can use this as a good source, comparative metrics.
So such a waste as well. You've literally got Jaime Lannister.
They spent a lot of money on this.
To play William the Conqueror.
They spent
That's
a lot.
Such a good casting.
Yeah,
Just wasted.
Yeah,
wait, who did they have playing?
Nikolai Coster-Waldau, who played Jaime Lannister.
Yeah, they spent a lot of cash on
That's a waste of a casting choice.
Hell of a lot of cash. And obviously, everyone's just destroying it. Embarrassment, wokey. Really wanted to like it. Second episode, terrible, blah, blah, blah. And people are just ripping it apart. Costumes, set design, props, everything bad.
Teenager could have written something better. So it's not even just on its own merits as an attempt to tell the narrative. People are not enjoying it.
Yeah, which is fascinating because they've genuinely actually spent a hell of a lot of money on this. It's not a small production. This is a really big production for the BBC. So, this is obviously a bit of fun. It is a bit of fun. But a bit more seriously, right, is that, we've seen this rife within the BBC as a whole, but it's also other countries and other people's history as well. So take Yasuke, the Black Samurai, that they attempted to shoehorn in everywhere.
Heard of it.
That was a crowbarring in of black revisionist history, because that's all it boils down to. It's just black revisionist history.
And at least he was real. Even if his actual role in history has been massively exaggerated, we do have contemporary records that suggest he was there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The individual did exist, not to the degree.
I mean, he wasn't some kind of samurai warrior hero that they all looked up to. He was kind of just a retainer.
Yeah, he was just a sword carrier. Just fetch my sword,
who was a slave.
Yeah, he was sold. He was just given away.
Yeah.
Have him. It's an obscurity. Just have him.
Slave, samurai, let's not split hairs about this.
Yeah.
So obviously, look, the aim is demoralization, right? So it's to dismember you from your ancestry. That is the aim, pure and simple. So you can be malleable for progressive, diverse, shitlib future. And obviously that has failed, evidently, as we can see from these things. Like no one's even watching it, no one's interested. And again, I think another key point of this, if I can move this bloody mouse, another key point of this, which you raised, which is children. Children get their history from things like this. It's diminishing more and more, obviously, because people's attention spans are now just 20 seconds long, courtesy of TikTok.
Well, especially diminishing as well on, like old channels like the BBC.
Yeah, well, that's the
You're
other
not going
thing
to
as
the
well.
BBC to get, you're going to YouTube or Netflix or whatever it may be.
And this kind of thing is going to give them the same kind of reputation that the History Channel started to get when everybody noticed that the only thing History Channel was really pushing was Ancient Aliens. This is the BBC's equivalent of Ancient Aliens.
Well, they've done it so much. There was even a show about bunch of black people in the Blitz. I don't know if you spotted.
Oh
that.
yeah, Steve McQueen.
There was
everywhere.
There was that Gary Oldman film where he played Churchill in London, and when he's on the train in London, and he's having a crisis of faith. Will he be able to stand up for England? It's a black Londoner who just happened to be on the tube at the time, who gives him the pep talk he needs to be able to carry on and save Britain. You've
got also, when we were saying about
it's so farcical.
Yeah, when this stuff being, because it's like, I remember even back in like the start of the 2010s, right, there was still some authenticity. Like, you would watch like the first season of Wolf Hall, which was a BBC production, Mark Rylance. It was fantastic, and it was all accurately casted. And then they've gone and made the second season recently. And so, okay, well, the first series ended in 1536, and the next series is picking up immediately after, but now all of a sudden, like, all of the courtiers are diverse. Like, what the hell happened in the space of a week? Henry VIII, what have you done? You know, it's like, it's just absurd.
It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But there you go. Black Anglo Saxons, they were a thing, all right? But they
and don't
prefer
you
to be
dare
named.
question it, or you'll get a knock round yours.
Oh, yes. Shall we get to some of these?
Sure.
What we got? We got a Rumble rant. It says I've got the perfect Afro Blackson, Nate. Chelsea's Cole Palmer. Take a look at his granddad. He's from St. Kitts.
Have you seen this guy?
No.
Samson, type in to Google Cole Palmer grandfather and go on to the images, because it's quite interesting. There you go. That is a Chelsea footballer with his supposedly biological grandfather. Now, I either think that there is some maybe lies being told within the family, or this is an example of pure English genetic domination that within 2 generations,
all the blacks gone,
completely unrecognizable. Because I know, I used to be in a band when I was a teenager with a mixed lad who his grandfather, I think his mum was mixed and his grandfather was from Jamaica, and you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell. He had pale eyes. He was actually one of the whitest guys I've ever met in terms of pure skin color. So it is interesting how it can, like within a generation or two, be unrecognizable.
The strong Anglo genes.
Yeah, of the European races, the Anglos seem to be able to just like push out all phenotypes from others quicker than most of the others.
Who are the men that pick for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history? You should know, because you encounter them every day. Between the towering buildings of a fallen empire, we find the Fellaheen, the historyless men, who know nothing of the turning of the cosmic wheel and find themselves outside of civilization itself. Cut loose from the great chain of being, they represent the loam into which our dying culture will return. That is, unless we choose to take up the burden once again. This Fellaheen condition is the subject we explore in issue 4 of Islander magazine, on sale while stocks last and available worldwide at shop.lotusseaters.com.